Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jerry and Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Bulldog Show. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. Remember, we're always sponsored by Deters Law, Parks Yoga, and always check us out on all of our platforms. We'd love to have you tune in to us. Number one story that we're going to use today is the update on the China balloon, where it has now been verified that these balloons are, in fact, China's attempt to check out military installations of all its enemies all across the world. Now, I would say to you that, I'm sure they have high-flying planes too, but for whatever reason, they felt the need to use these balloons. So what we did is we allowed a balloon to do its job before shooting it down. It is the most absurd thing ever. And by the way, it's almost as if the Biden administration is an administration of defiance. In other words, they just refuse to do what they should do if it's the other side says anything about it, knowing it's good. In other words, they just refuse, under any circumstances, to do what's right if our team says it's the right thing to do. I mean, for example, they could say, if you drink Coca-Cola, you're going to die of cancer. They would drink Coca-Cola because they're not going to listen no matter what. It is complete defiance of common sense, logic, and what is right. Half Americans are now worse off. They're worse off. The numbers are as high as it's been since the 2009 real estate crash. It's sad. You know what Biden says about the Hunter situation? And I think he goes, the public's not going to pay attention. This guy is so used to being shielded. I mean, I think I speak for all of you that I never thought I could loathe the president more than I did Barack Obama. This guy is off the charts. I mean, it's amazing. And you know what? The ABCs, the liberal media, tech, the American Communist 10, gave us this guy, and what he's costing American taxpayers, what he's costing our country from A to Z is unfathomable. The damage, the harm, it's truly scary. And look at him. I'm Joe. Here I am. I'm president. Too bad. It's unbelievable. The IRS is apparently going after waiters and waitresses' tips now. Unbelievable. Do you see what the Biden administration and these SOBs do? They always talk about the wealthy. They go after the wealthy. They talk about that. But what they really do is go after you and average Americans. That's the game they play. The wealthy loves these guys because of the manipulation that goes on. Twitter was before Congress yesterday, these fired ex-employees of Twitter. And it is, we already know this, but when you think about the accounts that were suspended and what they were suspended for, and then what they did on the Hunter Biden information, I mean, these people need to burn in hell. I mean, it is unbelievable. And again, they helped give us Joe Biden. But for them, Joe Biden would not be president. Trump would still be president. And I don't care what anybody says about Trump. Why shouldn't Trump literally be ready to lose his mind in anger over the way he lost? Him now knowing all of this. And to this day, I'm still asking the question, nobody else seems to be, why haven't we asked Facebook? Why isn't Facebook hauled into front of Congress under subpoena and said, okay, here's what Twitter did. Did you do the same thing? Because we know they did. Every platform that did this needs their comeuppance. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Stay tuned for local news. Welcome to Bulldog TV Local News. Coming up after this is the World News, which I'm going to do for Jamie Spindley since he's in England. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Law, Parks Yoga, and check us out on all of our platforms. This top story really bothers me. Ryan Guilfoyle, I wonder if he's any relation to Mark Guilfoyle, the DBL law lawyer, accepted a plea deal last year for a 5-year prison sentence on child pornography charges. This week, Boone County Judge Richard Brueggemann removed all the jail time for Guilfoyle's sentence. Guilfoyle now will face 8 years probation, according to Judge Brueggemann's sentencing. I read the facts relative to this child porn, and it's really bothers me. And I think Judge Brueggemann has to be a lot, he has declined comment so far. And it seems to me that this needs explanation. And to be candid with you, I don't know what the explanation can be. A guy pleads to that deal and it gets changed? Something smells. Something just smells. And it's disgusting what happened. Long crime. Gurpreet Singh was charged with a quadruple murder for his wife and family back in 2019 in Westchester. He's maintained his innocence, and a recent trial resulted in a hung jury. The verdict came to a surprise as many. His new trial begins Friday. Jan Enriquez Fontria of Florida is facing felony manslaughter charges from a Louisville accident. The man missed his exit on Gene Schneider Highway and put his car in reverse, which caused an accident. A woman involved in the accident died from injuries. Sad. Local news. Wednesday, FC Cincinnati began demolition on its new $300 million mixed-use site on 8.5 acres. The new construction just outside of TQL will include things like restaurants and new hotel, multiple years to develop. Covington Board of Commissioners is focusing on illegally operated short-term rental properties. Rena Home short-term is legal in Covington, but a proper registration is required. Locals are growing tired of rental properties that often attract loud party guests. You know what? The idea you have to register your rental property, I don't know. Is that too much government? It seems like it to me. Kentucky State News. House Bill 1 that cuts the Kentucky state income tax quickly passed a legislature vote on Wednesday. The bill would cut the income tax rate to 4% at the start of 2024. We'll see if Beshear signs it. Kentucky's House Impeachment Committee voted to impeach Commonwealth Attorney Ronnie Goldie. Look at this dude. Looks like a 1970s porn guy. Goldie's accused of providing, doesn't he, Sabrina? Providing favors for a woman facing prosecution in exchange for nude photos. He's the Commonwealth Attorney for Bath, Menifee, Montgomery, and Rowan counties. Yee. In Ohio State News, U.S. Senator J.D. Vance has been in office about a month. He's expressed he'd like to investigate the FBI for handling the Trump's Mar-a-Lago home search. He hopes the investigation will help Americans distrust the federal leadership of the FBI. Governor Mike DeWine has directed officials to explore the possibility of a statewide rail system. Would focus on 2 corridors, Cleveland, Columbus, Dayton, and Cincinnati, Cleveland, Toledo, Detroit. And sports, Cincinnati's established itself as Ohio's top sports betting. And you know what? Thousands of Kentuckians are going across to bet. 1 in 5 adults are expected to bet in the Super Bowl. Coming up next, World News with yours truly. Ladies and gentlemen, American Jury and Bulldog Nation, Jamie Spindley has been given his report from England World News. He's been a real trooper and a real Marine. However, yesterday when I watched this show, he's doing outside of a building, the wind's blowing, birds are chirping, and I said, no more. The quality has to be maintained. And he acknowledged that reality. And my producer failed to notify me. See why you got to check up on these people? All right, here's your world news. There are strong indications that Russian President Vladimir Putin decided to supply the missile that downed flight MH17 in 2014. The passenger aircraft was hit by a Russian-made missile over Ukraine, killing almost 300 people. You think that might have been Putin? British Prime Minister has said nothing is off the table after Zelensky urged the UK to supply Ukraine with fighter jets. But he warned that supplies were running out and could result in stagnation in the conflict. Folks, what did I say? No-fly zone, tanks on the border. Before the conflict ever happened, it would have never happened. Now we're doing planes and we're doing tanks and the country's in tatters. Vision, vision. Man, it makes me so mad. The mayor of Paris does not want Russia to compete at the 24 Olympic Games whilst the war in Ukraine continues. But the IOC Olympic Committee has said Russia may be allowed to compete as neutrals. A rare find in the Irish Sea off the coast of Belfast, a fisherman caught a blue lobster. The chance of this happening was 1 in 2 million. This fisherman released it back in the sea. What? This guy doesn't want to monetize anything. And sports, Manchester United tied with, by the way, that's Jamie's favorite team, Leeds United 2-2, whilst Fulham beat Sunderland 3-2 in the FA Cup replay. That was in soccer, Spindley. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day.